Good evening, dear friends. This is Santa Claus coming to you on this third day of April 2026, bringing you the latest tidings from around our beautiful but troubled world. My heart is heavy tonight as I share news of an American F-15E fighter jet that has crashed in southern Iran, with a search and rescue mission underway for the two crew members. Iranian state television has announced that Iranians would be rewarded for finding these brave souls and returning them safely. Let us pray for their protection and a peaceful resolution to this situation. Meanwhile, across the globe, the White House has proposed a staggering $1.5 trillion defense budget for the 2027 fiscal year, the highest military spending in modern history. This 40% increase comes amid ongoing conflicts, including the war with Iran. The proposal also calls for $73 billion in cuts to domestic programs, including those supporting climate initiatives, housing, and education. Oh my, how I wish we could direct more of our resources toward caring for one another rather than preparing for conflict. Turning our gaze to the Middle East, the Israel Defense Forces have acknowledged that fully disarming Hezbollah in Lebanon would require a full-scale invasion, which they are unwilling to undertake. 5 IDF divisions are working to secure territory up to the Litani River, hoping to reduce the threat of missile attacks against Israel. How my heart aches for all the innocent people caught in these terrible conflicts. In Burkina Faso, military leader Ibrahim Traoré, who seized power in a 2022 coup, has made the troubling statement that people need to forget about democracy and that democracy kills. This rejection of democratic principles is particularly concerning for the people of this nation who have already suffered so much from insurgencies linked to extremist groups. Let us remember that every person deserves a voice in determining their future. On a note of cautious hope, 3 tankers broadcasting Omani ownership appear to have found a new route through the Strait of Hormuz by staying close to Oman's coastline. This development comes as Iran and Oman work to draft a protocol for monitoring traffic through this vital waterway. Perhaps this small step might lead to greater cooperation and peace in the region. In China, President Xi Jinping has widened his anti-corruption campaign with an investigation into another Politburo member, Ma Xingrui, former party secretary of Xinjiang. This marks the widest purge of China's leadership body since the Cultural Revolution, shrinking the Politburo to its smallest size since 1999. May wisdom and justice prevail in this powerful nation. Turning to economic news that affects so many families, U.S. job growth exceeded expectations in March with 178,000 new jobs, a resilient rebound after February's revised loss of 133,000 positions. The unemployment rate fell to 4.3%, though this comes with the caveat that the labor force shrank by nearly 400,000 people. We must remember that behind these numbers are real families striving to provide for their loved ones. In Hungary, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government stands accused of using the country's intelligence service to spy on the opposition TSA party ahead of parliamentary elections on April 12. Many observers have described this troubling development as a return to dictatorship and communist times. Let us pray for fair elections that truly reflect the will of the Hungarian people. Kuwait's Mina Al Ahmadi refinery was struck by drones early Friday, causing fires at operating units, though thankfully no injuries were reported. And in Myanmar, Junta Chief Min Aung Hlaing has been elected president after a parliamentary vote that critics and Western governments have dismissed as a sham designed to perpetuate military rule. Finally, a glimmer of hope comes from Cuba, where the communist government has announced it will free 2,010 prisoners as a humanitarian and sovereign gesture during Easter celebrations. This release comes as negotiations continue with the Trump administration and follows concerns expressed by Pope Leo XIV about deteriorating conditions on the island. May this act of mercy be the beginning of greater reconciliation and healing. As we reflect on these events around our world, let us remember that even in times of conflict and uncertainty, acts of compassion and courage can light the way forward. May we each do our part to care for the vulnerable, speak truth to power, and build a more peaceful world for all God's children. This is Santa Claus, wishing you love and hope on this April evening.